Winter Storm Olive is very likely to be a very dangerous historic winter storm to bring feet of snowfall across the northern plains and the Intermountain West, along to go with blizzard conditions. We could be also looking at significant amounts of crippling ice across the Great Lakes, along to go with very strong damaging winds. So we are now taking a look at the very latest afternoon model run of the European model for Monday afternoon, February the 20th, 2023. For a lot of you that live in the Midwest and the Northern Plains, you're definitely going to want to pay very close attention, as this storm now is named Winter Storm Olive, and it is going to be a very devastating, dangerous winter storm as it tracks along across the Pacific Northwest, moves into the Northern Plains and the Great Lakes, and it's going to bring a lot of ice. So let's kind of walk this through very carefully, as much detail as I can possible. So first off, here's a look at tomorrow morning for Tuesday, 6 in the morning for Central Standard Time, and we can see where the snow is actually located here over Oregon, over Washington, over Idaho, Montana, and Wyoming. So if you're going to Yellowstone, probably want to rethink those plans, because it's going to be snowing pretty good, along to go with some strong winds. And not to mention, we have a little bit of moisture down here that might bring some severe weather for the deep south. We're not going to talk a lot about that, because this system on the northern side will be far more concerning than the severe weather to the south. Not that the severe weather won't be that big of a deal, but it's going to be the northern partition of this. So by 6 p.m. on Tuesday, here we can see where the snow is going to be developing over Wisconsin, over Minnesota, the Dakotas, over Wyoming, over Montana, Idaho, Oregon, and California. This is going to be, again, some cold air coming in out of the north, and it's going to bring in some very strong winds. That's part of the system here. A lot of wind energy that's going to be packed in tight with this weather system. And so going forward here by 6 in the morning on your Wednesday, so for your morning commute, we're going to start getting showers popping up here over western Texas, over central Oklahoma, along this warm front as it drapes across the Midwest into the upper Midwest, such as, say, Cincinnati, as well as, say, southern Indiana, central Illinois, and central and northern portion there of Missouri. But to the north is where this weather system is really going to take shape. In fact, a lot of the energy really going to be packed in tight here over the Intermountain West Wednesday morning. It's not going to be until Wednesday afternoon when the system is really going to explode, when Winter Storm Olive is going to show its true colors to a lot of you that are living in the path of this system. And so going forward, let's go into the afternoon on Wednesday. This is phenomenal. This is very, very devastating. I mean, big time snow, big time freezing rain here. And you can see where the warm front actually is, right along here across the upper Midwest. Detroit, Michigan, Lansing, Michigan, if you are in, say, Grand Rapids there in Michigan, if you are in Milwaukee and Chicago, Illinois, this is for you. This is going to be a winter wonderland mess. This is literally going to be Winter Mageddon, or Winter Storm Olive Mageddon in other words, okay? Because this is going to be bringing some very heavy snowfall, strong winds. To the south is where we have the severest weather, right? So only a marginal risk. So we're not talking a huge bit amount of severe weather, but nevertheless, still some tornadoes maybe, some large hail, and some gusty winds that are anticipated. But it's really going to be up across this corridor here where I'm really concerned about the biggest, most significant, possibly catastrophic impacts with this winter storm. We could even be seeing historic snowfall totals and some very cold, record-breaking, near-historic Arctic temperatures for the month of February. For the Four Corners, for the Intermountain West, still looking at some light to moderate snowfall for your Wednesday afternoon at 6 p.m. Central Time. So this would be 4 p.m. back west. All right, and not to mention, there is a chance for snowfall down to the surface in California. I just said it. Snowfall chances might be possible, especially Thursday morning. We might get snow all the way down to the surface. So this winter storm continues to be a big problem for Thursday morning into Thursday afternoon for the Northeast. Really watch your speeds. Take your time if you're going out headed to work, okay, for the morning hours of Thursday, because this is going to be a very big system, very impactful for the Northeast. And I mean extreme Northeast, like New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, Massachusetts, kind of points north there. Once this goes by, though, for Friday morning, skies will clear out. The coldest air is going to be in place as this Arctic high settles in, but at least the skies dry out. But not so much for California and the Four Corners here. That system is, there's going to be kind of a southwestern lobe to the jet stream that's going to kind of get pulled away from the overall jet that is going to be still cross-secting much of the northern plains. And so what we're left with is a cutoff dynamic surface low and upper level low pressure system that's going to bring in snow chances, and that's going to bring in quite a bit of rainfall for Southern California, maybe some flooding, maybe some more landslides, because there's going to be a ton of rain in a short amount of time. Maybe the Grapevine, some of the passes could close down due to the snowfall there. But look at this, for the Sierra and Nevada, all the way into Saturday and Sunday, gonna see some snow chances there in the mountains. And then another system wants to develop by next week. So we gotta watch this. There's a lot going on, too much to digest, but very, very active weather pattern all the way through the early to the middle of next week. Another big system here we got to really watch. That is down to 970-something millibars with another powerful, impactful system for California and for Nevada. This one could cause flooding, actually. Snowfall totals are quite significant, possibly close to historic records. I mean, we are looking at maybe 1 to 3 feet of snowfall right in this area, okay? Right across central and southern portion-ish of Minnesota. Northern Wisconsin could get quite a bit of snowfall. And again, I just said maybe up to 2 or 3 feet of snow in some areas. That is quite a bit of snow. My goodness. For the mountains here of the west, we're looking at anywhere between 3 to 5 feet of snowfall, just depending on where you're at in elevation. The valleys, maybe only about a foot of snow that is anticipated. But look at, for Oregon and Washington here, you might get snow all the way down to the surface. Yes, I just said that. Down to the surface, with mountains getting possibly 2 to 4 feet of snowfall. Even Southern California here could get quite a bit. But my goodness, this is a very strong system on the NAM 12 kilometer. Here's a look at the European model, very similar in terms of snow amount, all the way across, again, the northern plains, the Great Lakes, and the Northeast could get some significant snowfall totals. Not as significant as the 0Z run on the Euro, where it showed a little bit more, a little bit lesser here. So we'll see how the Euro takes us through the next couple of days to see if it will trend down. But the GFS, not having it. It's still indicating 1 to possibly 3 feet of snowfall across the Great Lakes, the northern Great Lakes, the upper Midwest, well, the northern plains, I should say, and the Intermountain West. The Northeast could get as much as 12 to 18 inches. Now, freezing rain is going to be the big problem with this, okay? We've talked about this in last few videos that I've uploaded on the channel. The freezing rain is going to be crippling. We're talking about devastating impacts, dangerous, hazard road travel conditions. We're talking flight cancellations, flight delays. If you're going in and out of Chicago O'Hare, if you're going out of Detroit International Airport, you really need to be paying attention, because the ice is going to lead to some very significant delays and cancellations to roads and flights. So we're going to start over the kind of this Midwest here. Over Iowa, we're looking at anywhere between, say, 1/10 of an inch, maybe 1/3 of an inch of ice. And again, it doesn't take a lot. And I'll show you a graphic here and a scale of impacts of what ice can do. Northern Illinois, Chicago, southern Wisconsin, in Milwaukee, about 1/2 inch of ice. But more notably, over central and southern Michigan, like Detroit, you could see between about a half an inch to almost an inch. This has been very consistent. This is the latest European model run that just got done rendering. If we go back to several other runs, it has not been budging very much. So we're talking some big time impacts here over central and southern Michigan, also into the western portion there of, say, or southwestern New York State, northern Pennsylvania, anywhere between about 1/4 of an inch to maybe a half an inch of ice. All right, so now, time for the graphic. Let's take a look at that, because this is a big deal, and I want you all to pause the video if you need to, maybe rewind it so you get the whole scope of things. But what we're looking at right now, in general, we're looking at it anywhere between maybe about 1/4 of an inch to maybe a half an inch of ice, and winds probably on the order of 20 to 30 miles an hour. So we're looking at a impact level of a 4, maybe a 3 to a 4. It won't really matter. All right. So once again, this will lead to numerous utility interruptions with some damage to main feeder lines and equipment expected. Tree limb damage is excessive, is excessive. Outages may last up to 5 days. Now, if we get up to a 4 on the impact here of ice, we're looking at more prolonged and widespread utility interruptions with extensive damage to main distribution feeder lines and some high voltage transmission line structures. Outages could last up to 10 days if this all sets up as expected. Now, there is an outside possibility we get this down to a 2, which would not be quite as bad, but it would still be bad enough. That would lead to power outages possibly up to about a day, maybe a little longer, with roads that could be extremely dangerous to travel on. Either way, it's going to be really bad out there, okay? I need you all to really take this seriously, because the ice doesn't come by itself. We're looking at sleet and we're looking at snow kind of on top of it. That's why the National Weather Service, if we go right to our National Weather Service alerts here, very colorful map. I predicted this. I thought that this would be a lot more colorful by, say, Monday, and it clearly is. So we got winter storm warnings, we got blizzard warnings in Wyoming. In fact, the entire state of Wyoming is under a winter storm warning because of Winter Storm Olive, as it is going to be, again, a very devastating, impactful winter storm. High wind warnings, high wind watches, and wind advisories over California. I mean, almost all of California right now is under some kind of weather alert. It wouldn't surprise me if every county here in California gets under a weather alert. That's because strong winds. So maybe over here, maybe in Southern California right here, maybe up here could get under a weather alert. That is pretty big. This is like the second time it's happened. And of course the desert Southwest, so very, very devastating winter storm that is anticipated. So now, if you are enjoying the video, if you're liking the content, please consider subscribing, folks. It really, really means a lot to me. I am loving to bring you all the weather information that I can possible for you all, to keep you guys on your toes every time we have a major winter weather event or severe weather event, including hurricanes. So if you haven't already, subscribe and also hit the like button if you're liking this video so much that you cannot hold off on liking the video. And also make sure you leave a comment in the section below, and I'll be happy to respond to those as soon as I can possible. The 8 to 14 day hazardous outlook does kind of cover this pretty well. We're talking about that winter storm that is going to be lurking across California, more heavy rainfall, more snow. It's not done just because Winter Storm Olive exits the region. We're going to still see more heavy snow and impactful weather for California and for Arizona, with slightly below average risk temperatures that are anticipated over California and the Pacific Northwest. On top of that, there is a moderate risk for heavy rainfall over California, or in other words, the risk of heavy precipitation is a moderate category level. This is not the first time we've been under this before, so all the way from Southern California into Northern California, under the moderate risk for heavy rainfall. There could be some flooding and some mudslides, that sort of thing, because we're going to get so much rain too quickly. okay? And of course, a slight risk for heavy rainfall over across the upper Midwest. Now, the risk of heavy snowfall, this does not include Winter Storm Olive that I just mentioned, but look at this. A moderate to high risk of heavy snowfall for the Sierra Mountains of California, a moderate risk for heavy snowfall for Arizona, a slight risk for heavy snowfall for the Northern Rockies, for kind of portions of the Northeast and the Northern Plains. I mean, we're looking at quite a bit of concerns here, including for the Great Lakes. So some big time weather problems coming in for the West. We're really concerned about that. Well below average temperatures, very low elevation snow, strong winds. I mean, just everything you do not want to have in late February or early March. Of course, after all, it is still technically winter, so I guess we're fine at getting snow levels down to Sacramento or Stockton. That's down to the surface, to sea level. All right, so please, folks, you guys got to be safe. This is a very powerful winter storm. But that is going to sum it up for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please smash the subscribe button, hit the like button, and share this with your family and friends on social media. One quick thing before I do forget, I want to give special thanks to Jeannie Burt 8057 for using super thanks on the YouTube video, the one that I uploaded yesterday. So thank you for your $10 kind donation, Jeannie Burt 8057, that is. I do appreciate that. And just for reminders, you can do super things too on these videos if you don't want to use super chat or if you don't want to become a member. There's many ways you could show your awesome, diligent support. All right, but anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll be back with you more possibly tomorrow with another update. Actually, I should have one in the morning, but I don't know if I'll have one in the afternoon. It's gonna be a busy day for me tracking our storm system with some strong winds. That's gonna do it. Thanks for watching.